What is up, everybody? Welcome to Crunch Time. We got a little Wednesday edition, but it's feeling like a Friday. Two of the sharpest minds in the business, two legends in the industry. We got one, Mr. Cheese is good. Dave Potts. What up, Cheese?
Yeah, I was going to say it feels like a Thursday, but it feels like a Friday. It doesn't feel super Wednesday-ish though. I think you're onto something here. I don't know why that is.
Yeah, I don't know why either. I am celebrating because we got the one, the only. We got Stevie in the house. Just it's a treat, man. A treat to be joined by you on a Crunch Time.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of fun. Get to hang out with two of my favorite dudes and talk some baseball. 4 games, so I mean, we can definitely get sidetracked a few times, but a fun 4-game slate. Not as fun as the 8-game late slate, but fun 4-game slate.
I like it. Cheese, I tweeted this because, I'm trying to get the people to tune in. I said, 2 legends in the industry going live now, plus Dave Potts. I thought you might enjoy it.
Tremendous.
No one is I don't think anyone gets the joke. It's fine. It's fine. They're the legends.
I hope someone just gets really offended and comes to my defense.
That's kind of what I was hoping too. It'd be a lot more fun if that happens. Hey, I am here to do the weather and to just hang out with you guys, but I figure I should start with the thing that I'm supposed to do, that I get paid to do, and that is the weather. There's a shot of a delay in this New York game, and I'm curious how interested we are in pitchers in that game. Cheese, do you want to let me know?
I mean, it's essentially we're not, except it's a 4-game slate, and so we are.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like they're definitely in the pool.
Yeah. Okay. I usually in spots like this, I just say go for it. It's going to be fine. It's a 5%. We're a little bit higher than that risk, but being that it is still such a small slate and there's not a whole lot of options, I still think you just eat that risk. But usually when I tell you to just eat the risk, it's like a 5 to 10% chance of a delay. And in this case, it's probably more like 10 to 20, which isn't crazy and it is probably fine, right?
Yeah. And we'll talk about those. I think other people will be more on those pitchers than I am. So I actually kind of like that. I hope we do hit that chance of a delay. But yeah. I mean, on a 4-game slate, I don't think you can do anything about it. And it's not like you would just X those guys out of MME.
Yeah, right. But you'd only do that if I was certain a delay was coming and I knew it was coming early, and that is definitely not the case. Okay. The other thing that's a little interesting is Minnesota, where the winds, especially by the end of the game, are going to get strong. I'm talking 35-mile-per-hour winds. We're almost getting to goofy shit is going crazy with fly balls that are hard to track levels of wind in Minnesota.
Which way?
That is the key question. It's blowing across the field, right to left. So across whatever way you guys are looking at, that way, Cheese. So if this was blowing in or out, I would be pretty excited about it. But being that it's blowing across the field, it's just kind of like a neutral, not anything too exciting. I'm hoping for a little bit of just random wind chaos, but I don't quite think we're at that level, but we're close.
It's interesting. I mean, that's an interesting note because that is the one super mega chalk pitcher on this slate. This whole slate is Coors Field chalk and Kenta Maeda chalk. Mm-hmm. Maybe that adds a little reason to if it just ever so slightly helps a couple balls become home runs. I mean, maybe that's the reason we're looking for to fade the one super mega chalk pitcher on the slate.
Or maybe it just ever so slightly keeps a couple balls in that would have been home runs if they were hit out to right. It's just kind of when it's across the field like that, it's tough to know what the outcome will be. But
so we're just rooting for for it to whip around just so we get to see an outfielder run around in circles. That's the best
100%. Thing. Yeah, that's all I care about. I just want that clip of that guy just looking like he's a little leaguer. That's pretty much it. Stevie, anything you want to add there on the weather notes, or not too exciting and you don't really care?
I mean, the Mets game's interesting because we don't have a ton of pitching options, and both of those guys are somewhat viable on the slate. So, yeah, I mean, I'm with Dave when it comes to the Detroit game. I mean, Maeda is massive, massive chalk, and I don't see how you can really get off of it, even with the wind. So, I mean, it's a 4-game slate, and it's a pretty chalky 4-game slate.
Okay, well then we'll figure out what we're gonna do tournament wise and how to make things a little fun, a little interesting. We should note, though, this show is sponsored by Fanduel. That's why it's the Fanduel sponsored Crunch Time. So make sure you sign up for the Fanduel Sportsbook if you're in a legal sports betting state. Take advantage of their awesome bonus offer. If you're in Tennessee, Arizona, Colorado, or Illinois, you can bet $5, get $150 in bonus bets. If you're in Virginia, West Virginia, Indiana, Iowa, and all other legal sports betting states, you get a no-sweat first bet up to $1K. Terms and conditions apply. I need to do a better job of like what two letters mean what state. Because every time I look at that read,
there's just a few of them that, it could it could be some, a lot of the M's and the I's are a little
VA, like, that's Virginia, but I don't know. There's just a couple of them there. IA, there's a few where I hesitate, but I know them. Anyways, that's my problem, not yours. The slate is our problem collectively. So why don't we give Stevie the reins to kind of walk us through it, if you don't mind, Stevie? You want to give me a general thought and then start with pitcher?
Yeah, I mean, general thought is Arizona is in a fantastic spot in cores, and we would probably stack them in this spot in 95% of the ballpark. So Arizona bats definitely like the high priority for me on this early slate. And then just if I'm going to play them, how do I get different, especially if I want to play Maeda as well? So, I mean, it's one of those slates where it's tough to get different because the projections definitely lead us into certain areas. And I think that you're taking some shots overall. And I mean, we can, dig into the pitching here, but Maeda he projects better than everybody else because he's facing a terrible Detroit team, and he's one of the most talented pitchers on the slate. I do like Reese Olson a lot on this slate. I think that he is a really interesting pivot or pairing, depending on which site you're playing. On FanDuel, I think he's an interesting pivot. On DraftKings, I like the idea of playing Maeda and Olson together. That's why your wind had me a little nervous there for a second, but I think pitching is another pretty straightforward spot. I think it's Maeda, Olson. If you want to go cheap, McGill. If you want to be different, maybe Savali against San Francisco. And then if you want to tamper in danger, you can maybe take Oviedo or one of these other guys.
Okay, very good. Cheese, I want to get your thoughts, but first, talk to me about Maeda, and especially as chalk. Like, is this dude reliable, or is he just the only decent option and his ownership is way higher than it should be and he sucks?
No, it's honestly both. Like, he is good and reliable and has the matchup and is the only guy.
Well,
and the bad version of Maeda is probably still one of the top two pitchers on the slate. I mean, obviously anything can happen, right?
Of course.
I mean, I think he has one start this year where he scored a negative. So it's possible. It's happened once. It can happen twice. But I'm eating the chalk. I will tell you that I have 100%. And I feel fine about that.
Okay.
Now, I'm not full MME. I mean, I would absolutely have a couple Detroit stacks if you were doing not even 150 lineups. If you're doing 50 lineups, I'd have a couple Detroit stacks just because that's the way baseball works. But for me, it's a don't overthink it. But mostly because I don't think there are two other pitchers that score double-digit points. I mean, they probably will just because that's what the sport is. But
trying to pick that is not easy.
For me, it's just Olson, Maeda and Olson in that same game. If salary is no issue at all, I guess I would play Savali. He's an unnecessary spend. Like he's not at all worth $9,400. But nobody's worth anything outside of Maeda. So if you have the money, I guess I'd say Savali second. Maeda, Savali, Olson, that's the bulk of my pool. I have a couple Oviedos thrown in there. I don't have any Tyler McGill. He is facing Pittsburgh, and he can throw enough pitches that he can just get lucky. So it's fine. I don't have any.
Interesting. I mean, I'm seeing the pitch count there, nearly 100 pitches. He's dirt cheap. Is this a slate where the money that you're saving really matters all that much? Because sometimes it's not on these smaller slates.
It doesn't matter at all unless you're trying to do Maeda Savali.
Gotcha. Okay. So, all right. That makes sense. All right. Well, then let's flip it over and talk about the bats, the stacks, and Cheese. I will let you lead us off in that category.
Well, yeah, we have Coors Field, and it's not just because it's Coors Field. It's also because it's something named Slade Caccione and Austin Gomber.
I'm sorry, what was this one?
Exactly.
Yes.
The Arizona rookie. I think it's his second start. He's actually kind of probably not going to be a horrendously terrible pitcher, but he's not really ready to be a major leaguer either.
Yeah.
However, it's a 4-game slate. It's still baseball, and for whatever it's worth, it looks lucky as all get out. But Austin Gomber has been actually real life fantastic for 2 months. Like, he really has. He has not had a bad start, I think, since May. I have to look exactly, but like, it's not some guarantee that he gets shelled, because he hasn't gotten shelled in a long time, and at least he's not walking anybody, which helps. I mean, I'm just looking for some reason to fade Arizona. They are the top team, but I am finding it. Like, I'm eating Maeda chalk over Arizona chalk personally.
Okay. So then where are you going with your bats primarily?
Well, so here's the problem. The problem is 4-game slate, even as mega chalk, we're still only talking, 30-ish% ownership on Arizona bats. So the sneaky stuff is not all that sneaky. Like, to me, it's Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's my favorite team, but Pittsburgh's not sneaky either. Like, Sawinski and Reynolds at least are going to be pretty popular. Officially, if you're just worried about the old sneakeroo, I'm playing the Rays and even the Giants. Like, I think that game, especially assuming we don't get a lineup in the next few minutes, I think that's the way to be different. But officially, I have more Pittsburgh than Arizona or Colorado, and I have more Tampa than Pittsburgh or Colorado.
Okay, very good. Stevie, not in agreement here. Are you doing the same thing, or you're eating the pitcher chalk and trying to get a little different with the bats?
No, I'm stacking Arizona.
Nice.
Stevie, I want to have the highest scoring lineup. It's not all about scoring the most points. Or maybe it is. I don't know.
Yeah, so Wednesdays for me, I am super busy like prepping NASCAR data and stuff like that. So I play most of the time single entry stuff on these early slates. So I'm playing one team. I'm going to play Arizona, and then Arizona lineup just came out, and no Carroll kind of maybe makes me rethink my process. My process was Carroll's expensive, lefty. Maybe he is lower owned, but now like Kyle Lewis is really cheap. He's hitting second. So like Arizona stack's going to be even more popular now because we have value, and the value is good. So I was planning on just stacking Coors, playing Arizona 5-man, Colorado 3-man. Maybe I rethink that now. But yeah, single entry stuff, I'm not playing like 1,000 entry large field tournament stuff on this slate anyway. So
yeah,
I'm playing Arizona. I like the Tampa call. I think Tampa is really interesting on this slate. Ryan Walker is going to be an opener for somebody and throw. Just this team is so annoying when it comes to how they're handling their pitching. But Tampa is one of the few teams in baseball that they really spread out righties, lefties. Both of their lefties can hit lefties. So I like the Tampa call a lot. And we've already had a couple questions in chat about like, do we like Detroit? I love the idea of leverage off of Maeda, but if I was going to do that leverage, it'd probably be playing Olsen and Savali and just fading Maeda. I don't think I'm stacking Detroit. They just don't have enough upside.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Okay. Well, that leaves us with 25 minutes or so. We'll go around the horn. I know some of these positions will be a little bit limited, but let's dive right into it. We're also going to give some home run picks here, so hang out with us even after we do this. But Stevie, why don't you start with some catcher for us?
Who's the cheapest catcher? Hold on. No, I got to stay on brand. No, I got to stay on brand. I like Andy Rodriguez a lot today. Like, McGill is getting some ownership. I talked about him in Lineup HQ. McGill is just the best of the cheap options today, but I still like the Pittsburgh bats a little bit in this spot. So Andy Rodriguez, I think, is someone that has some upside. I don't mind just going all the way down and saying I'm going to punt with Navarez at 2.2K on DraftKings. So I'm typically someone that likes to save money at catcher. If Marino is in the lineup for Arizona, he's the chalk today against Gomber. I didn't see who was catching. It's Herrera. So he's the chalk. He's 2.3K against Gomber.
Okay, very good. Peter in the chat pointing out also after home run picks, we need to discuss lunch and nap plans, and that is a key.
I already ate.
That
lunch.
Is a key portion.
Lunch is done for me.
What?
Really? Yeah, I guess you're.
I'm on the East Coast, man.
Ooh,
yeah.
All right, we'll get
I have
into
kids.
it.
Yeah, we eat lunch.
Yeah, I'm definitely
that is
taking ideas. So
yeah. Okay, cheese.
Those in the chat.
Yeah. What are you doing to catcher? I just had ribs, by the way. So good. Jeez, so good.
So the two Coors Field catchers are probably the two worst hitters in that game. And like Stevie mentioned him, like Andy Rodriguez is definitely my favorite catcher. I like him better straight up than the Coors guys. And there you go. That's your position.
Okay, that's easy enough. First base.
So very obviously Christian Walker, chalk of the slate. I don't think it's at all fair to say that Pete Alonso is sneaky. Like, this is going to be a word I like to say because it's a cool word, but like, just because Christian Walker is chalky does not mean that Pete Alonso is sneaky. I think the way to play this is to play something like Dan Vogelbach or Wilmer Flores and leave the salary. That's my biggest way of getting different. If I'm playing anything of the chalk, is just to leave salary somewhere. And then I'll also mention Yandy Diaz.
Okay. Stevie at first base, is it crazy? Let's say you were like multi-entering here. I know you're just doing single entry to do like an Arizona stack without a Christian Walker, or to take away one of those key pieces to make yourself a little different.
I'd fade the chalkier play, like in Kyle Lewis, the cheaper chalkier play before I would fade. Christian Walker is probably the best hitter on the slate in terms of where he's hitting, who he's facing, what ballpark they're in. I think like if we had to give a hitter the highest projected points, Christian Walker would be that guy. So like I don't fade him in my Arizona stacks. I'd more likely fade Kyle Lewis in that type of situation. But I mean, I like Pete Alonso. I love that call. Another cheap name that I'll throw out there is the dude from the Pirates, Rivas. He's someone that I really like in this spot. If you're stacking Pittsburgh, he's hitting way down in the lineup too. So I think if you're like wanting to do a secondary stack with Pittsburgh and you're throwing in Andy Rodriguez, Rivas, and then like maybe one of these top end guys, it makes a lot of sense today.
Very good. How about second base, Stevie?
Second base is one that I'm still kind of figuring out. The guy I wanted to play wasn't in the lineup. I think if you want to go top end, Brandon Lau makes a lot of sense against Walker, and it sounds like the Stripling will be the long reliever. So if you need to save some money, I think Buddy Kennedy, was he in the lineup? See, Kennedy's in the lineup. So he's cheap. He's 2.4K, like another cheap Arizona bat that's going to get some ownership today. So like I'm more likely to fade like Kennedy and Lewis than I am going back to your question about first base with Walker. So.
Okay, very good. Cheese, what are you doing at second? And can I add real quick? We did get a question from Andrew. Can you play Connor Joe at first, if you don't mind answering that?
Sure. Like I ended up using him in the outfield where I did use him because like Stevie mentioned Alfonso Rivas as the cheap guy. So I would kind of rather pair them together, which means using Joe in the outfield. But yes, absolutely playable.
Okay, second base.
So Ketel Marte is your chalk here. Another one of those. With Carroll out of the lineup, it's now pretty easy to play Walker and Marte. So I think those two will be in almost all Arizona stacks. I don't mind skipping Marte and just kind of hoping for the best. Something I could mention something at almost every position, but playing a twin or two, even in Reese Olson lineups, is quite viable. I like Jorge Polanco and I like Julian as a cheap play. But my favorite at the position with ownership factored in is Brandon Lau.
Excellent. Third base, Cheese.
I guess we get a little more spread out here. Ryan McMahon and Brian Hayes, probably more popular, I think, than Buddy Kennedy. I'm not sure. You kind of run out of ways to build Arizona stacks, and I don't think a lot of people will use Marte and Kennedy just because then you have to use Kennedy at third. And that's just something I don't mind doing. Like any way you can do your Arizona stack that's not the same as everyone else's Arizona stack is good. But essentially this position is weaker, honestly, even than second base. Like I don't like the cheap stuff at all. It's kind of just nonsense. Not counting Kennedy, who I'm counting more at second base. So McMahon and Hayes, I think, are relatively good chalk.
Okay, Stevie, third base.
I mean, I have the same thoughts. Like this is I'm okay with punting catcher. I'm okay with punting like second base because third base, I feel like you're losing a lot of opportunity cost by not playing McMahon. I think if you wanted to get different and not take McMahon, I think the guy that I would be playing is Paredes, assuming that he's going to be in the lineup. I like Tampa. I think Tampa is a very underrated offense just in general today. So I would probably rank Paredes ahead of Polanco. And then Hayes is hitting leadoff, and we know he has like jack in the bag type of upside, so I don't mind Hayes.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, shortstop, Stevie.
Man,
I
that
don't
makes
know.
me think. Just pause for a second. Like,
Yeah.
I really wish we had a Jack in the Box here. Thinking about lunch, like carry on. It just for a
I
second.
used to eat it every morning on my way to like the TV news station. I would eat it at 2 a.m, and I get a triple egg and bacon sandwich with literally triple egg on a croissant, and it was so tasty. But like every
I don't
day,
think I've been to a Jack in the Box in a decade. I don't even remember the last time I've seen. Like I don't even know if there's one within 3 hours of me. And like it's not that it's good; it's that I haven't had it in a decade, and
just craving it.
And I have fond memories. So anyhow, carry on. Yeah, who do you like?
I don't know. The guy I was going to play is not in the lineup, so I mean now we're looking at. I like Lindor. I think the most out of all the shortstops, if you can kind of make it work. If you can't make Lindor work, I think you just kind of end up punting with whoever fits into your lineup. There's not any like mid-tier guys I'm super excited to play, like McKinstry and Crawford. So I mean, yeah, maybe a Nick Ahmed. Was he in the lineup? Yeah, so Nick Ahmed, I think, is your chalky, cheap option at shortstop.
Yeah. Okay. That brings us to the outfield, Stevie. What do we like there?
A lot. This is, I mean, it's a normal slate, right? When you're looking at outfield, there's a ton of options. Obviously, Tommy Pham sets up as one of the top point per dollar hitters on the slate. Lewis now hitting second for Arizona is a good lineup slot for him, and he's cheap, so he's going to be popular. If you want to get different, Brian Reynolds, I think, is great. Swazinski is great. Like, McGill is not going to throw the ball by anybody. So any of these Pittsburgh guys with some upside make a lot of sense. And then assuming that like Josh Lowe and Luke Rowley are in the lineup, I like them for Tampa today. Yeah.
Stevie, did you watch by any chance Crunch Time? Like I think was it yesterday?
It was yesterday. Yeah.
I was on Grinders Live yesterday, so when we got done, I had to go help with the kids, but I did not.
I'm overjoyed at this very moment.
There's something about I think you did the beer's home run call thing. You filled in for Beer Maker and the home run thing, and the pronunciation of Sawinski and adding the Swazinski. For whatever
I do it
reason.
on purpose, though. I love doing it.
It's
like,
glory. Like it's just so funny that you're on the like. Have we ever done a Crunch Time with you, me and you and Kevin? And the one time we do it is the day after Kevin talks about this Wazinski thing.
It made me laugh so hard. You said it like 6 times. Every time I was laughing, and then here we are. We get to bring him up again.
Maybe he'll do better than he did when I had him on the 6-pack on Monday.
I have faith in Swazinski tonight. He is my home run call of the night, of the day. Lock it in. Lock in Swazinski. All right, Cheese, what are you doing in the outfield?
Yeah, I love those Pirates. Reynolds and Jack S. We'll call him. Love those guys. I like the Tampa guys a lot. I don't think I'm going to change anything to add Kyle Lewis into my lineup. I think I'm just going to skip him and just hope that he's not the guy who hurts me. I have some Pham and Gurriel, but like I was playing Carroll a lot as a one-off. So now I have all these lineups where I just have like $3,000 sitting around. I'm just gonna leave it.
Yeah,
Like,
so I guess that's going to be a fairly common issue for folks. You think that they had Carroll and now they don't?
yeah, like especially if like the swap is Carroll to Lewis now. I mean, it's a $6,200 guy to a $2,700 guy.
Mhm.
And like the first
So
thing I look at is okay, I could move Olsen up to Savali. Yeah, I like Olsen. I think more honestly. I think it's close. I don't really want to do that. Or if you just go up to Lindor and Walker from whatever you had, like now you're just making sure you have the same lineup as everyone. I'm leaving salary.
okay, and that was my concern. Is sometimes when that chalky guy gets moved, everybody ends up making the same exact pivot, and you're trying to avoid that by just saying, "I'm going to eat the money," essentially.
Yeah, because there just aren't enough spend ups to have multiple pivots. Like there's one or two at the most at every position.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Okay, makes sense. How about some home run calls? We want to do that. Cheese, you want to give me a home run call?
Oh, I do. I want to go. We don't have the lineup yet, but I will say Brandon Lau and Jock Peterson in that later game.
Very good. Stevie, you got a couple calls for me as well?
Yeah, I like Andy Rodriguez to hit a home run today. He profiles really well. Catcher is awful, so really like him. And then kind of thinking on the same thing here. I like Luke Riley to go yard today.
Nice. Okay, I approve of that. We still have like 12, 13 minutes. We might make it to lock.
We
We
have
might
like
not.
2 minutes to lock.
Well, I thought it was at 20 after. We got 2
No,
minutes.
we're locking now. Yeah.
Well, good thing we got through that in time. That's my bad. Let me see if we got a few questions here in the RotoGrinders Discord. That is where all the cool kids are hanging out. So I am jumping in right now. No, not really. No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I only saw one question all day, which was, is it okay to play Maeda and Olsen in the same lineup? Which absolutely yes.
That's pretty much all we got. Which reminds us, if you're getting a little tired of baseball and you're thinking, hey, is there another sport that's coming soon? Well, guess what, my friends? NFL, it's here, baby. We are ready than ever. We're more ready than ever with our team of experts and our suite of tools. Let RotoGrinders handle the legwork. You can do less, win more this NFL season. Get access to everything we have to offer. Special discounted rate, only available to those without a RotoGrinders subscription. You get the full season for $50 off, limited time only price of $375. That sale will end opening night of the season, so get it while you can. That is a good deal for some of the best projections and some of the best talent and the best shows and the best tools in the industry. I was all excited. I pre-entered week 1. I put in a bunch of money, which for me is like $20. And I was going to win it all by stacking Daniel Jones and Waller together. And then I found out they're not even on the slate. They're not even the main slate. So now I don't know what the hell I'm going to do.
Well, now it's sneaky.
They're going to be extra sneaky. I'm going to
week one stack. I got you. We talked about this on XM on Sunday. So we started talking XM football like I feel like weeks ago, but
yeah.
Chicago Bears, Green Bay Packers, week 1 stack. There's where you win all your money.
I love it. Yeah, I'm in. Which quarterback do I play? Does it matter?
Yeah,
play
Justin
the Bears
Fields.
guy, right?
You got to play Fields.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. All right. Hey, we have almost hit the lock. And so Andrew says, so are Maeda and Savali cash for you guys? Is that the cash build?
Probably. Because Matt, now you have like so many cheap options, like with the Arizona lineup coming out. It's really easy just to say, I'm going to take the 2 pitchers against probably the 2 worst offenses on the slate. So
yeah. Okay. Hey, with that we hit lock. What are we doing for lunch, fellas? Stevie, what did you do for lunch?
I had some spaghetti, man. It was good. Some like whole wheat spaghetti noodles. It was solid.
Okay, I like it. Tomato sauce. You go tomato based. You go to a little cheese. What did you?
Yeah, a little tomato sauce. I think it was like a sausage sauce my wife made, and yeah, always got to get the fresh Parmesan.
Oh, Parmigiano Reggiano, the fresh stuff. Man, that's so good. Cheese. You get some lunch plans here. You still thinking about it?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I didn't get the input I was looking for, so it's still open.
I mean, I feel like you should have a grilled cheese.
He doesn't. He
Well,
doesn't really
see
like
if
I know.
cheese.
That's half the joke. I know. Come on, man. I've known cheese for a while. I know
That's
this.
true. The three of us have been doing this longer than most people are alive. That's a bit of a stretch.
I know. No, I mean, I
If
think
you-
percentage-wise, yeah.
Yeah, you tally up our years, man. It's been a long time here at RG. We got a question from Andrew in the chat here. Cheese, are you good with a Diaz, Lau, Paredes, and Rally stack on DK? Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's my favorite sneaky stack on the board.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I liked it too. If you couldn't tell by my random oh hell yeah. Here's a question. We got one. DK Cash, Stevie, Sawinski or Fam?
Fam.
Easy enough.
In cash, I think you just take the core is bad against Gomber. And like G said, Gomber has been pitching better. Arizona is an elite offense. So I'm going to prefer the Arizona side of that game.
Okay, very good. I'm going to get out of here. I, too, have to figure out lunch. Those ribs did not hold me over. So we're going to get some grub here and bounce on out of here. Excellent show, as always, gentlemen. Stevie, man, it's always so good to see you.
I see you next week. I'll be back next Wednesday. Early crunch time again.
I love
Devin,
it. Okay.
Devin said we got to hang out more.
I approve of this choice. All right, we're going to bounce on out of here. So for Cheese, for Stevie, for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes. Guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you later on tonight. You have been crunched.